Previously on Obsidius Nyxofcuckoo, Elena had returned to Blackwood Manor's dimly lit library, her hands trembling as she traced maps that seemed etched with forgotten truths and spectral presences guiding their way forward into the labyrinthine unknowns of time. Elena gazed down at a single parchment now more than ever. The writing was illegible, but felt urgent somehow. Each letter danced across her vision like ghostly whispers from ages past, adding to an emotional weight that threatened to overwhelm any semblance of clarity had she managed thus far. Her heart pounded in anticipation or fear both as the very foundation trembled beneath their feet and a silent pact seemed to form with Lila's spectral entourage. In this somber setting dominated by the ancient walls adorned with relics from forgotten times, Elena felt an inexplicable pull towards some hidden revelation, a message left behind only half-formed within her memory. As she continued tracing symbols etched into the parchment, once more each mark a thread in what could be seen as both destiny and nightmare, the air grew still except for whispers of spectral voices echoing softly through Blackwood Manor. Then, without warning, Elena's world narrowed around those unspoken words scrawled across that single page. She felt herself slipping away not just physically, but into realms previously unknown to her. Forgotten memories seemed ready to resurface like old wounds reopening beneath the surface tension she had managed thus far in containing them all with a fragile grasp of sanity and reality. Elena's mind whirred, theories swirling around an enigma that begged for more than simple answers. As layers peeled away from centuries, past each shadowing memory or spectral presence adding another layer to their understanding, a bond seemed forged by the silent pact formed between Obsidius Nyxofcuckoo and Elena herself. With a jolt so sudden it left no time for reflection, her very soul slipped through gaps in reality only just discovered. Each discovery they made revealed more than met eye contact. Each step forward led to deeper questions of identity, questions that seemed tailor-made by forces far older and darker still lurking beneath the surface shadows cast upon Blackwood Manor's ancient halls. As Elena stood transfixed before those now familiar symbols on parchment, a sense grew within her. She was no mere witness or explorer, but became another thread woven into their shared journey. The silence of Lila lingered in corners not yet fully explored. Obsidius' threshold beckoned like an invitation to realms never intended for human comprehension. In this moment stretched between old and new revelations, a connection forged by the shadows seemed more real than any tangible link might have been, another thread entwined with their shared purpose. The next chapter would reveal what secrets lurked within that single parchment's mystery, a puzzle waiting now ready to be solved, but only if they could navigate its labyrinthine depths without losing themselves once again. Elena felt a cold breeze brush against her skin as she held the ageless document, and in this moment of purest existential inquiry an inexplicable pull toward what might lay beyond it seemed clear. Their journey had merely begun. The words painted on that parchment, words veiled in ink yet pregnant with urgency. Drawing them deeper into its shadows, it was as if the etchings were whispering of secrets both ageless and modern. Elena's hands trembled slightly. She couldn't quite decipher what those symbols meant or how they related to their current predicament. She turned her attention back towards Obsidius, who stood quietly beside, his eyes gleaming under flickering candlelight as he studied the parchment with a mix of skepticism and reverence for its cryptic nature. "I don't understand them," Elena said softly into air that felt thickly charged by Lila's spectral presence looming over their small gathering. "It looks like something from another time." Obsidius nodded, his lips forming noiseless agreement to her confusion as he traced the symbols with a finger stained red. Traces of blood smeared on every surface in this dim sanctuary seemed almost poetic now within these mysterious confines. "We need more context," Obsidius muttered under breath that echoed across their somber gathering. "The blue box must be tied into all this somehow." Elena's mind raced as she recalled the strange encounter with Lila back at Blackwood Manor, how her spectral form had guided them through intricate corridors not filled just by shadows, but also whispers and echoes of forgotten memories. "We should keep looking for clues in that blue box," Elena proposed. "The more we know about its past, the easier it will be to uncover the secrets these symbols are guarding." Kim Noiselessant form stirred beside them. Despite their differences, he seemed as invested in unraveling this mystery together, his dark gaze reflecting Obsidius and Lila's spectral forms without breaking eye contact. His presence somehow provided a semblance of stability amidst the chaos. "All right," Kim finally spoke up, his voice steady but tinged with underlying tension under all that arcane atmosphere. "Let's see what we can find inside the blue box." for now their next course was clear. Search through every crevice and shadow in the sanctuary, where time itself seemed to be stretched into an eternity of uncertainty. As they ventured further towards uncovering the secrets etched onto those ageless parchments, by whatever mysterious forces guided them, shadows began moving about with a purpose almost as enigmatic. The door leading outwards felt heavier now, yet each step taken was filled not just by fear, but also curiosity mingled into an uneasy excitement that only grew stronger once more. As they entered the blue box itself, its depths darker than their collective doubts, they realized none of them knew what awaited. Fragments from alternate realities, or perhaps something far deeper, even sinister. And in those moments, as Obsidius Nyxofcuckoo studied the Omen Orphanage Asylum's map etched onto one piece among the many parchments, his face twisted between concentration and unease. The specter of Lila began to shift. Her spectral form seemed lighter now, almost relieved, as if she found in their shared quest some semblance of closure for all those years lost. The shadows around them moved faster with each whisper, from past dimensions converging towards what lay within this very space, what they had collectively brought about through the labyrinthine effort to uncover these symbols' true meaning, even as doubts began gnawing away at everyone's resolve. For amidst their collective search for truth and answers, a convergence on something far more malevolent seemed inevitable with each step forward. And in that moment Elena couldn't shake off a creeping dread. It was almost tangible now within the sanctuary of Blackwood Manor, where echoes from other times blended into an unsettling silence as they approached the sanctuary, the very place Lila had once served. For all their questions about Obsidius' connection to Kim, and what this strange convergence might reveal, there seemed more at play in a realm beyond comprehension. The specter that was always with them took another form. Now it wasn't simply an anchor, but rather an entity of sorts watching over them like some vengeful ghostly figure. Its spectral presence felt ever heavier as the door to the sanctuary opened, revealing what lay within, memories etched onto parchment, symbols painted on walls, a world not fully understood yet somehow more terrifying than anything they had witnessed so far. Obsidius took a step forward, with Elena following closely behind him, his eyes reflecting Lila's spectral form merging into something almost demonic. As Kim Moira stepped in their wake, he didn't dare voice any of the gnawing questions on how to proceed or what this convergence might mean. Perhaps it was best left with them alone, that dark entity watching from its place among all these symbols and memories. The sanctuary seemed more foreboding with every step towards the sanctuary. Each shadow felt darker, as if pulling at their very souls through the veil of time. Obsidius turned to face Elena once again. "Are you sure we should go in? This feels wrong." Elena's voice was a mere echo now, her words tinged not just by doubt, but also an underlying strength, refusing to back down against whatever waited inside these walls.